Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, aka Valerie Ames Middlebrook, aka Panthea, aka Dat Me. And this is a tribute to Aretha Franklin. I am just going to pull one card and open it up with some smoke. And I'm going to shuffle my deck. Just going to put that out. I'm pulling from the Isis Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. And I'm just shuffling the cards right now. As I've been saying on Facebook, Aretha was a driving force in my understanding and understanding of myself as a woman and what loving and being loved was all about in a way that I didn't even understand when I was much younger. But I would grab a brush, I would grab whatever, and it would be my microphone. And my favorite song was Chain of Fools, simply because there was an emotion there with that was just overwhelming to me. It was compelling to me. It was so raw to me. I could feel her feelings in that song. And it was always a beautiful thing for me. So I'm just going to, I'm told to take the top one. Stay true and be in your power. Osiris and Isis, Lord and Lady of Divine Authority. Wow. I used this card in one of my little dedications to her, and I chose it simply because of the flower that is there, and I felt it portrayed the seeding that women do, not only with our ovaries, but also with our words and with our unconditional love that we so freely give and so freely share. And here's the card. And there's that flower that I was speaking of. Okay, let's see what um, Elena Fairchild had to say about this card. Stay true and be in your power. 165, which is the 12, which is the 3. Okay, here we go. Um, this is my makeup brush. I don't know why but it is what it is. Okay, here we go, beloveds. Again, this is stay true and be in your power. Osiris and Isis, Lord and Lady Divine Authority. I am going to mute the music. I don't know if it's bothering you, but I don't want it to interfere with the reading. And that was Aretha Franklin, Baby You're a Rose, playing in the background. So, there we go. I have muted it, and let's go. You are a sovereign divine being with spiritual authority and freedom within you. You do not need permission from anyone to be who you are and live your life as you so choose. This is your divine birthright. Guard it as the precious treasure that it is, and remember that you are a divine being. The flail and crook. Mama, mama, mama. Thank you. The flail and crook, often held by Osiris, are symbols of divine royalty and dominion. These symbols remind us that within we hold great dominion, spiritual authority, and freedom to be the sovereign ruler of our own self. And we all know Aretha was a queen, baby. This does not mean that we have to control life or others or even the environment around us, but it does give us complete and utter choice to become as spiritually awake, free, and self-determined as we wish to be, as well as providing us with complete choice as to what our values and actions will be this lifetime. Very powerful. And that's just the first paragraph. There is no permission required from anyone apart from yourself to be and live your truth. There are many voices that will test you on the journey from illusionary shackles of fear, loss, or abandonment that may hold you back or tempt you into giving your power away to others. You shall awaken from the testing into the realization of spiritual independence within. So, beloveds, don't be afraid to go through, okay? Know that you are strong enough to walk it, to endure it, and to see your true self on the other end. You're walking through that tunnel of light that we see when we die, and you're greeting your highest self, your most authentic self, the self that um, identified most authentically with your divine spirit the moment of your creation inside your collective. And you are here to express that identity as best you can. But we have got to get to the point where we are seeking ourselves. We are seeking our identities. We are seeking to know who we are. And once we get a clue, we have to anchor that knowing, that identity within us. We got to lock it in because there are going to be so many situations, peoples, events, even your own thoughts and feelings that are going to come and try to disrupt that vibe. And that is going to come from the ego, and that is still part of the dual nature. But you've got to get to the sixth heaven, to the sixth dimension, we'll call it, where there is no more duality. There is only the identification of the self. And beloveds, we are right there on the cusp of that. So trust and believe that everything is aligned. And if you're watching this, if you understand this, if this stirs up something inside of you, then baby, mama is talking to you. Okay? So listen to this card reading very carefully with an open heart. And whatever you don't understand, please Google it. Please look it up. And I'm here. Ask me. Ask me outright on my page, not in my um, inbox, because it's so full right now, and I have some resistance to it still. So I'm working on that. But if you have questions for me, just put them right there on my page. Anyone is allowed to post and comment. It's a public page, so that's how I keep it. Okay, let me move forward with this. Of course, there is more to spiritual authority than just recognizing that it lies within you. There are times when you must act on it, guard it, and protect it, which means recognizing when others seek to exert influence over you for their own reasons, or when you are being manipulated out of your own authority, becoming blind to your own power of choice, and instead believing that things just are the way that they are, and you cannot question or query. Sometimes, during such challenges, to wield the crook and flail to exert one's own spiritual authority requires that you stand your ground and remain true to your knowing. This is not about achieving a certain outcome or attempting to control something or someone or even forcing things to be as you wish they could be. Standing your ground means always telling yourself the truth and not selling out or giving away something that has genuine spiritual truth and meaning for you. It's not about making another see things the same way. It is about honoring your own truth. And if your truth is wise enough to include compassion, then honoring the other, even when the other disagrees with you or seeks to harm you out of their own fear, you do not have to challenge another in order to honor your truth and inner authority. If you feel that another has to agree with you in order for your authority to be intact, then it isn't genuine inner authority at all. The fact that you don't need to have the argument, I'm sorry, listen at me putting my own little spin on here. Grounding, 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 grounding. The fact that you don't need to have the agreement of others in order to live an empowered life can be a liberating realization. Yet, there are times when life can feel like an assault against your truths, with many challenging you. For those souls who have come to master spiritual authority this lifetime, there is a test to remain true without becoming dogmatic. To honor what you know is true without minimizing, judging, or dismissing the truths of another that are different to yours, but just as true for them. You have the power to create and own your reality, and you don't need permission from anyone else to do this. That was Aretha's truth. She, as a preacher's daughter, got into a relationship with a so-called worldly man who was a pimp. She got pregnant. She had this child. She struggled, but she was strong, baby. She was a spiritual woman. She endured. She knew that love was long-suffering, and she loved herself enough to discover for herself her own identity and to love that. And not only to go on that journey, but to go on it in a public way, to share her wisdom in her songs, to share her spirit energy, to share her strength and her truth. She is indeed an icon, and she is a diva. And I love the diva in her because it comes from the square that she stands on. It comes from her identity. It comes from her knowing her inner authority, and that her inner authority was never taken from her, no matter what went down, no matter how much she loved, no matter how much somebody couldn't return that love or receive her from where she was. She gave. She gave, she gave, she gave. And everybody that you hear not only state how talented she was as a woman, a genius on the piano, but that she was a real human being. Meaning she didn't do she saw people from where they were, and she identified with them through compassion. And that's what this just asked us to look at. So I really feel Aretha with this reading. So let me continue. It is not about making another see things the same way. It is about honoring your own truth. And if your truth is wise enough to include compassion, then honoring the other, even when the other disagrees with you or seeks to harm you out of their own fear. You do not have to challenge another in order to honor your truth and inner authority. And this is a deep lesson for yours truly, okay? Because I was taught to challenge. I was taught to what? So this is really a rebirthing for me because it is unlearning the challenge and letting people know who you are and not to disrespect you and not to go there with you because there will be consequences. This, on the other hand, is is truly saying, I have many cheeks and I know who I am. And I don't have to use my vapor death ray on you, okay? I don't have to curse you. I don't have to wish ill on you. I don't have to say, Karma, come get him. I just have to keep being me and focus my energy on being me. And knowing that by doing that, I am being in my own power. I am flowing from that source. I am energized and fed and nourished and safe and warm from that source. Okay, let me move on. You do not have to challenge another in order to honor your truth and inner authority. If you feel that another has to agree with you in order for your authority to be intact, then it isn't in you, then it isn't genuine inner authority at all. The fact that you don't need to have the agreement of others in order to live an empowered life can be a liberating realization. I've got to get back to that. I've got to embrace that again. Yet there are times when life can feel like an assault against your truths, with many challenging you. For those souls who have come to master spiritual authority this lifetime, there is a test to remain true without becoming dogmatic, to honor what you know is true without minimizing, judging, or dismissing the truths of another that are different to yours, but just as true for them. You have the power to create and own. There's that word own. Create and own your own reality. And you don't need permission from anyone else to do this. Honoring your spiritual sovereignty, let the Lady Isis help you find your spiritual authority. Freedom of choice now. If you have pulled the Queen of Heaven card as well as this one, you are guided to deeply question the power of external authority figures in your life, whether they be spiritual teachers, gurus, parents, or employers. These beings may be doing their best to help you, but it is up to you to find your own truth. These beings can be mirrors. Stranger than fiction. These beings can be mirrors for your own awareness at best. You are guided to exercise care and discernment about any issue that feels like it is compromising your sense of self and personal power in such relationships. That issue is a soul healing trying to happen. Look within and see if you can grow through it in some way. There is much self-confidence trying to emerge from within you. These are almost ancient of selves, the energy that we have been encoded with, that is awakening inside of us. And we have never known ourselves to be so strong, to be so wise, to be so pure, to be so innocent. And it's causing us to really re-examine so much. Um, we're going past the layers now. Um, just like the skin has those many layers, the epidermis, and all the way down, to the white meat, so to speak. But beloveds, um we are collectively having a rebirthing experience, and it's on a global scale. And those of us who are, excuse me for rubbing my nose, but those of us who are experiencing this in this now moment and aware and awake and receiving and open to more receiving, we are receiving upgrades. Our gifts and our abilities that have always been are being heightened. They're being opened. They're our ability to tap into them is much deeper right now. And we need to take advantage of that, because all of this is happening so we can know who we are, so that we can manifest paradise and have it be sustainable because of who we are, who we know ourselves to be, caretakers of Gaia, children of the divine. And we've got to see each other in this light and recognize the power in each other and know that one isn't more special than the other. One isn't more favored by another. We have to be ground zero, just like in that ascension of Isaiah that I shared. And beloveds, if you don't know what the ascension of Isaiah is, I ask you to Google it, and I ask you to understand that that is the cycle and the season that we are in. And the recognition and the understanding and the revelations that Isaiah sought and that were given to him and that he wrote down. This is what we need to be working on right now. This is our guide. This is our map. This is our compass. Um, it's our GPS. And we've just got to tune into it. Okay, let me move forward. Seeking to hand over any responsibility for your own well-being to another can be a tricky and ultimately self-destructive path. Even though it may seem to start off as a relief of stress about some concern or other, this card also guides you to take responsibility for your health into your own hands too. And that just bonked me on my head and slapped me upside the back of my neck and was like, you hit it, you hit it, you hit it. I'm talking to you. So not only am I being talked to, but you being talked to too. It's all of us. Mama's letting all of us know we are all vessels and we need to detox. I am going through a detox out of this world right now. And it is amazing feeling the difference of being so full and clearing out everything, the amount of energy, the the way the inside um, feels. There's no more. I'm intuitive, so I guess I was feeling the blockages and I was just blocked. But now that I'm really seriously detoxing, the chakras are in motion, baby, and there's divine healing taking place. And I feel like I am just glowing all over the place. And it's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling. And this is what Mama is telling me. Get used to feeling like this. This is what you deserve. This is what your higher self knows to be its worth, knows to be its true self, always seeking, yet knowing that all the answers are within. That is the divine unconditional love of connecting with your inner self, of finding what you lost um, as a child, or whenever a traumatic event happened to you, or even just when someone yelled at you or hurt your feelings. They took a little piece of your soul when they did that, and you thought of yourself as less than. It hurt you. And so all this time, those pieces have been adding up. And that emptiness you feel, that numbness you want, it comes from going and finding those pieces and parts of you and allowing them to be reborn, knowing who they are, and knowing that no one will ever again take a piece of you away. Not only because you won't let them, but because people are changing and understanding themselves. And they know that when they take a piece of you, they're taking a piece of themselves because we mirror each other. And if you put a angry dog in front of a mirror, what is that dog going to do? He's going to try to attack that dog in the mirror. What are we doing to each other, beloveds? We're attacking each other. We need to learn how to see each other as divine beings. And so much will change. That's all that needs to happen. It's not some big, complex, quantum, blah, 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 blah. It's very simple. The ancients told us, know thyself. It's it's just that easy. Know thyself. And once you do that, everything begins to just change. Everything begins to open for you. You begin to realize the power that you do have. You begin to realize the connections that you do have. And everything that keeps repeating and looks synchronistic, you be like, okay, that's not synchronicity anymore, the way science has explained it. That's mama. This is spiritual. This is beyond science. This is knowing. And I am activating this knowing. I am activating these confirmations. I am manifesting this synchronicity as a way to tell myself, you're doing this. You got this. Look at you. Yay. So let me keep going. It's like I said, I feel like day and night. I am unfolding now in the light. I feel that I've been that lotus coming up from the waters, pushing up from the muck. But I finally feel that I've surfaced now, and I can feel the sun um, on me. And that is a feeling that I am going to be chasing. That is a feeling I am going to be welcoming because it's very familiar. It's familiar to the most ancient of myself. And that is what I feel the need to do. To just like when I was a child and it was summer vacation and you woke up and you ate and you ran out the house as quick as you could because you wanted to see what the day was going to hold. You wanted to go look at the tadpoles. You wanted to find robin eggs. You wanted to just go and just be and just be and be and be and be free. And we have forgotten that kind of freedom because this matrix, we're enslaved to this matrix system, to this consciousness, but it's ending and we have got to move away from it. We have got to let it go, and we have got to keep grounding ourselves and reminding ourselves, I have the power. I was born a leader. Everything I need is inside of me. And beloveds, like I said, start looking more at your cameras. Start taking more selfies. Start seeing more of yourself. And start recording yourself, empowering yourself. Whether it's just reading affirmations or just sitting here and looking into your own eyes and searching your own soul and finding the beauty within. Whether that beauty is you're able to love unconditionally, or you're very compassionate, you're empathetic, you're giving, you're an introvert who has a wacky sense of humor, whatever it is, find that beauty in yourself. Let it be a feeling, let it be a knowing, because that is your true heart, that is your soul, and that is what no one can take from you. You can't even give it away if you wanted to. Find it. Okay, let's keep going. Seeking to hand over any responsibility for your own well-being to another can be a tricky and ultimately self-destructive path, even though it may seem to start off as a relief of stress about some concern or other. This card also guides you to take responsibility for your health into your own hands too. Advice from health professionals and doctors can be helpful and sometimes can be mistaken. It is up to you to decide for yourself how you wish to work with your body. Only you know, beloveds. Only you know what you'll stick with and what you won't, and what frustrates the hell out of you and what doesn't. If I had to get weighed or weighed my food or measured this or count that, it wouldn't get done. I already know that. I already know that about myself. That's an instant turn off to me. That'll make me resist, and while I'm trying to do that, I'll be big as a house because I'll be fighting me, and I would win. So find what works for yourself, beloved. Find what works for you. Okay. Don't be scared. Listen to the advice given by other professionals, but remember, your life is your spiritual gift. Don't be afraid to live it in your own way. Ritual of the crook and flail. Find a peaceful, quiet place where you can sit comfortably without being disturbed. Closing your eyes, imagine that you can start with awareness at your heart and it can travel down through your body, touching your navel with light and all the way down through your feet until it forms roots in the earth. Allow those roots of light to travel up through your body and heart and then up to your throat. Imagine the light growing in the throat and then gently expanding out in all directions, creating an aura of light around you, all around you. Say aloud, I now choose of my own free will to honor my authority, responsibility, freedom, and strength. I now choose to take back my power and authority. I respect myself. I honor my power, and I allow myself to have full spiritual authority in my life. I now choose to break any contract or vow that I have ever made with another being in which I allowed them to exert spiritual authority over me. I now choose to honor my own divinity and allow myself to have full possession of myself. With gratitude for the precious gift of spiritual sovereignty, I now honor my own divine power, responsibility, and freedom. So be it. Breathe in deeply and exhale fully. Repeat the breath 3 times in and out. Be aware of the light in your belly, supported by the energy from the earth, and let it rise up to your stomach area and then up to your heart, throat, and forehead. Let it rise up to the top of your head, your crown chakra. That's me saying that. Enjoy the rising of this light. And when you are ready, just take your focus back to your belly again and then just open your eyes. So, beloveds, you're giving your intuition, your gut, permission to be your authority. You're giving your gut permission to speak to you in a voice that you recognize as your own, and a higher part of yourself that can see and know what you can't see or know inside of yourself at this now moment. But you're integrating this. And the more you do this ritual exercise with repetition and practice, the better you are able to get to speak blessings over your life, over your family's life, over your children's life, over Gaia, over everything that is occurring. And people will be like, whoa, and they won't even know what's going on. They'll only feel stronger. They'll only begin to start seeing themselves in a much clearer way, in a much more spiritual way, and not so much a Adam and Eve physical way that I'm naked and I'm dirty and I'm a sinner and I'm no good, I'm no good, I'm no good. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're more than good. You're God good. You just got to know it. And you just got to start being it, start manifesting. You've got to start acting in that manner. You've got to start living in that manner. That's the lifestyle for you. that that is a true lifestyle for you. The spiritual lifestyle. Being as honest as you can at all times with yourself first and then outwards. It's a beautiful thing, beloveds. Okay, let me read the um, incantation of the crook and the flail. You can say this incantation to break any vow of this or another lifetime. You will sense those past vows as an inner block or drain that can keep you captive to a relationship or relationship pattern that you know does not serve you, but you cannot seem to break through. You can also say it anytime you feel confused. You are seeking permission for how you live your life, or that you need to call your power back. Crook and flail, crook and flail, flail and crook, flail and crook. I now declare with intention clear, I am a sovereign being of love divine. I call back my power full and complete. I break all vows of giving away my authority. I release the lie that my authority may be taken from me. I surrender only to the light of my own divine essence. Put your hand over your heart. Feel it in your heart. Feel it in your gut. Make it be so. When you say it, know it. When you say it, believe it. Know that the breath of life is the greatest gift that we have, which means we can speak into being what we need to at any time. We just have to be in our heart, and we have to be centered and grounded in that place. And we have to make sure that what we're asking for benefits all, not just your little selfish whim, but that what you're asking will benefit all, for the benefit of all, for the unconditional love of all. And you be in that place. That's a sacred place that you create for yourself, inside yourself. And that is where your authority is. That is where you are king, queen, goddess, prince, princess, the fool, the magician, the hermit, whatever you want to be. You are all those things in that sacred space. And if that is the energy of the authority that you wish to wield, then you have to become that, beloveds. And you have to see the need for it and direct that intention towards that if you want it to change. Speak change into it. Okay, let me get going because Laurel is coming to. We're going to do girl stuff. I got to get shaved and waxed and all that stuff that I haven't done in who knows when. That's too much information. TMI, I'm sorry. TMI. I call back my power. Full and complete, I break our vows of giving away my authority. I release the lie that my authority may be taken from me. I surrender only to the light of my own divine essence. Crook and flail, flail and crook. I now, I now declare with intention clear, I am a sovereign being of love divine. And that is going to do it for me, beloveds. I love you. I love us all. And be good to one another. Be forgiving to one another and learn to see yourself even in someone you perceive as an enemy or that's out to get you. Um, look deep, go beyond the layers. Some of the things that we have been so sure of, we can now kind of peel back and see what's underneath it. And it's what's underneath it that needs the healing, because the wound is so very deep. Okay, beloveds, that's going to be it. I love us, and again, this is Mother with Wisdom, and this has been my tribute and reading um, that's dedicated to Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, um, one of my greatest mamas, and my mama's mama, and her girlfriend's mama, because that's where I listened. That's where I was first fed soul food and understood the power of spirit through her voice. So I honor you, Aretha. I honor you, Mama. With all my being, I honor you. And I thank you for being here, for being that star and shining and being a strong black woman.